How much AVAX do you need to become a crypto millionaire? We're going to take a look at AVAX. We're going to talk about why I am bullish on this one and just how many coins would you need to turn your current portfolio into a crypto millionaire. Let's dive in. AVAX right now at $18.41. But as you may all remember, in the last bull market, this thing went all the way up to about $150. It was absolutely crazy. A lot of people were talking about AVAX and it was absolutely blowing up just like any other crypto. Now, what if I told you that you could have bought this exact coin just before the bull market for the exact price that we are seeing it today? As we take a look, if we go back to May of 2021, before the entire massive bull market, AVAX was sitting at exactly where we are now. Now, of course, it went absolutely parabolic in that last bull run. It went about 700% and people made a whole lot of money. But as we know, we've been in a bear market for the better part of the last year and a half, and AVAX right now is down to about $18. And it hit a bottom of around $10. Now, if we take a look at its market cap on the all-time high, we're seeing a market cap of about 30 billion, and right now we're seeing a market cap of about $5.5 billion. Now, what we want to know is whether or not AVAX is going to be able to go back to that all-time high or even go surpass that all-time high. So what better way to understand the blockchain, understand what AVAX is, by looking at their stats here. So if we take a look at the daily transaction amount on AVAX, this is on the C chain. We are going to get into the details of their three different chains, but on the C chain, so the DeFi aspect of it, all of these decentralized apps, we are seeing about an average of 100 to 150,000 transactions per day. And as we can see in that last bull market, we were ranging around the 800,000 to 1 million transactions per day. So the volume was definitely there, but it does seem like we've hit some sort of a bottom around 100 to 150,000 transactions per day. Now, if we go and take a look at the unique addresses, whether or not people are still building out on this blockchain, whether or not people are participating in this ecosystem, we can see that yes, people are definitely still creating wallets, still using the AVAX blockchain, and it keeps on growing. So obviously a good thing here as well. And if we take a look at one last metric here, if we go to the daily active Avalanche C chain addresses, again, very similar to what we've seen on the daily transactions, it does look like it hit a bottom. There is around 30 to 40,000 people active on a daily basis in this current bear market. So as we understand this, let's go ahead and talk a bit more about AVAX and why I am bullish on this and how they've built this ecosystem for the success and for scalability in the future. So as you may know, there are three chains to AVAX. We can talk about the X chain, the P chain, and the C chain. We're gonna start with a C chain, which is the statistics we just looked at, and this is all where the DeFi space is. So if you're familiar with DeFi, EVM contracts, all of those smart contracts, this is where your tokens, your NFTs, and all of your decentralized applications are found. Now, if we move on to the X chain or the exchange chain, here is where the exchange between assets happens. So whether or not you are receiving AVAX, sending AVAX, or whatever the case may be. And lastly, they have their P chain, which is probably where I am most bullish on AVAX, because here is where we talk about subnets. And this is essentially creators or projects using this blockchain, this P chain, in order to stake on to validators. So they are creating AVAX validators in order to run their subnet under AVAX's P chain. So this is where it gets super interesting, because if we talk about some Web3 aspects of gaming, if we talk about any projects that essentially want to build their own blockchain, well, they can use Avalanche's subnets and they can go ahead and create their own blockchain within the Avalanche blockchain. So as we take a look here, gaming is obviously one of the bigger pieces of crypto that is yet to be explored, and there are basically games using subnets on Avalanche in order to build out their own ecosystem. Now, to run one of these subnets, people and projects are going to have to use validator nodes from AVAX, and you've guessed it already, validator nodes on AVAX obviously use the AVAX coin. So that's where I am most bullish on this. If we take a look at how many subnets are currently active, we can see that there's about 45 subnets, and the amount of AVAX that's actually staked onto these subnets, into these validators, which are essentially running these subnets, we're looking at 260 million AVAX. So that's a lot, and that is definitely bullish. And as the crypto gaming, or as crypto as a whole, becomes more and more popular, I do believe that subnets on AVAX are going to be even more popular. Now, on the same line of scalability, AVALabs or AVAX has literally partnered up with AWS, which is Amazon Web Services. This was announced at the beginning of 2023, and this makes the scalability of AVAX even better because now people can go ahead and use Amazon Web Services to host their nodes, host their validator nodes in a simple click of a few buttons. Now, AVALabs also plans to add its subnet deployment as a managed service to the AWS marketplace, so both individuals and institutions can launch their own custom subnets easily. So this is where it gets even easier for people and for companies, for whoever that either wants to host a validator node or host a subnet using validator nodes. They can essentially now use AWS in order to do so, and it makes the scalability of AVAX just that much bigger. So now if we wrap all of this information back up and we talk about the tokenomics of AVAX, first we have to understand that there is a max supply of 720 million tokens, and we have to understand that this is still an inflationary protocol because staking rewards are being given out on a monthly basis. So as we take a look at this, the current circulating supply of Avalanche is around 315 million coins. Now, taking a look at some of these key statistics here, last year we were around 245 million. And as we take a look at today, we are about 70 million coins higher than we were a year ago, which essentially means that about 70 million tokens or coins have been minted since the last year. Now, if we take a look at the unlock schedule of the AVAX coin and what's going to happen over the next few years, we can understand that because this is a proof of stake blockchain, well, they're obviously giving out rewards for people who are providing validator nodes to the ecosystem. And this is where we can see the staking rewards continue to increase as the years continue. Now, right now, as we've said, there is 315 million tokens in circulation, and we can see that from this graph here as well. Now, going back to the current price of AVAX and where I potentially see AVAX in the next bull market, I believe we could probably 2x, if not 3x, the last bull market cap, which is around $30 billion. I definitely see AVAX go to 60 billion, and if not even 75 and onwards. But let's take a look at some of these numbers. So if we have, for instance, a $75 billion market cap for AVAX, and you have to understand this does not necessarily mean that AVALabs is worth that much, because in a bull market anything is possible, and you can understand that there is of course speculation when we are talking about a market cap. So if, for example, we have $75 billion worth of market cap, and as we've said, right now, the current circulating supply is 315 million, assuming the next bull market happens in 2024, we're gonna assume that 35 million coins would have been minted from today until the next bull market peak, bringing a total circulating supply of 350 million tokens. So if we go ahead and we take our $75 billion market cap as an assumption and we divide it by 350 million, which is what we're thinking the circulating supply of AVAX is going to be in the next bull market, we get a price of $214 per AVAX coin. Now, if you want to do some math on that and you want to understand how many AVAX do you need to become a crypto millionaire if all of these assumptions do become true, if we take $1 million and we divide that by $214 per coin, this brings us to about 4,672 AVAX that you would need in order to become a crypto millionaire if all of these assumptions do happen in the next bull market. Now, to continue on with this, if you are wondering how much money is that right now with the current price of AVAX, you can understand that it is quite a bit of money. We're looking at $86,000. Of course, you can always play around with your predictions and your assumptions, and instead of going to $1 million, you can very well be satisfied with $100,000, and that would be a current investment of around $8,600. So those are my assumptions and predictions for AVAX. Of course, these are all speculations, and nobody really knows what's going to happen, but I am willing to be on this side of the coin because I believe in the future of AVAX. I do believe it could very well go back to the all-time high and even push past that previous all-time high. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button. Let me know your thoughts on AVAX down below, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace.